I love you.
What's up, y'all? Damn. Happy Friday. I hope y'all had a wonderful holiday season. You know, spending time with your family and your loved ones and pets for Christmas, and happy 2024. I gotta admit, this is not how I wanted to start my year off. Honestly, I've been kind of slacking on recording because I had an incident happen with my dog, so I guess I'll tell you about that. I want to say like about a week ago, I was coming home from walking Shea outside, and for y'all that are just coming into this video and maybe probably haven't watched my previous ones, I have a pit bull lab mix. She's about 3 years old. Her name is Shea. So Shea and I were coming home, and I had one of my next door neighbors coming back through the like she was going into the parking garage the opposite way, like coming towards me while I was heading towards her, and I had Shea on the leash. And when people get in front of my dog and then they freeze, like they don't know what to expect, like Shea will think you about to play with her. So even though I had a handle on her leash, I didn't grip her harness tight enough. So she ended up jumping on my neighbor, and in the process she kind of scratched a little hole in her jacket, but she also kind of scratched her skin. It was no bigger than the size of a paper cut, honestly. And my neighbor was like, "I've never been bit by a dog before." I'm like, "Sweetheart, this is a pit. Like, if you were bit, I would have had to wrestle her off. That's not what happened." And so I offered to pay for her jacket, and then she wanted to go to the urgent care, so I offered to cover for that. And I'm thinking this is going to be the end of it. Like, cool, like no harm, no foul. Like, she said she wasn't going to go and report my dog to the leasing office, and I said, that's fine, that's cool. I would have anyway, just to get ahead of it, but since she didn't try to, I was like, all right, this is going to be the end of it. She said, yeah, no worries, I don't want anything to happen to your dog. I just want to make sure that, I'm okay. So then I went about my business. I went, got something to eat. By the time I came back, 9 o'clock at night, I get a knock on my door from Animal Services. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how does this happen? How does this happen? So then they were trying to get information off of me about what happened, and they basically told me that because she went to the urgent care, there's this one bite rule in Texas that if you have to go get checked out by any type of doctor or whatever, and it deals with a dog bite, it has to automatically get reported. So I said, okay. She wasn't trying to have my dog taken away. It wasn't even on her. It was the urgent care. They took her word for it that she got bit. They gave her shots and antibiotics, and then they reported the incident. So that's why they were at my door. They didn't give me a citation, which is probably what they would have done, because I guess the officer's supervisor said that it was just like a scratch. It didn't break really that much skin, so it's not really necessary to go through all the other paperwork and stuff. So he said, all right, we'll just leave it alone. So and he leaves, and then I'm thinking this is probably going to be the end of everything. And for a couple of days it was. I went and took Shea out the next day to go for another one of her walks, and I ran into, this is going to be a story time. All right, okay, so this is the following day. The following day, we're outside, and on our normal walk path, there's I'll say a loose dog, because it didn't look like a stray. It looked like it had previous owners, and all in all, she was a sweetheart, But her and Shea didn't get along for like the 2 seconds that they interacted, because I guess she was trying to, you know, get a little nippy. Not Shea, the other dog. So I had to separate them, and then I brought them back. I brought my dog back upstairs, fed her, looked her over to make sure nothing really happened, which nothing really happened. And then I said, well, I feel bad about this other dog. Like, nobody knows who this dog belongs to. So I went back outside to try looking for it. And I found her trying to interact with somebody else who was walking their dog. And it wouldn't leave them alone. So I was like, okay, I don't want this to go south, so I'm gonna see if I could distract the dog, bring it in, so I could try to go looking for its parents. And in so doing so, it took me 2 hours. Mind you, I had to work later that day. It took me 2 hours to go and find who this dog belonged to, and I was unsuccessful. So I ended up having to go to the shelter, see if they could take her in. And then after that, they kind of like on a whim, they took her in, because I had made phone calls before and I told them that you know, like, this is a loose dog. Like, I don't want anything to happen to it, but I can't keep her because of Shea. So they suggested that I try going to the animal shelter and try dropping them off. And then when I did, they were like, we're at max capacity. You know, the shelter out here right now is like trying to double up on rooms for animals that kept getting brought in, but they took her. So then that situation gets situated. I go home. I basically ran out. I didn't even have time to like sleep between like the time that I got home and when my shift started. So I ended up just getting in the shower and just getting ready for work. The following day, I'm coming home off shift and I have a notice at my door. And I'm like, the fuck is this? What now? Like, what could possibly go wrong? So they're reading, I'm looking at the notice, and it's from the animal shelter. So it could be one of two things: about the dog that I just dropped off, or about my dog. And sure enough, it was my dog. And on the paperwork, it was saying that like I had to put her in quarantine because apparently the paperwork that I showed that was like had the records of all her shots. It was just one of the paperwork, because Shea had gone several times. I want to say at least two more times throughout last year. Two because I had to board her up, and one of the places that I take her to has boarding, but it's also like a vet hospital, so they give her shots, and that's who had the records. And then there was another time in the middle of last year that she actually had to go to the vet emergency, and I couldn't make it all the way out to the place that I usually take her to get boarded. So I couldn't find the paperwork for those 2 visits. The one time that I actually had the paperwork, it was from back in February of last year. So her shots were basically up to date except for the rabies. I think the rabies had like expired, I think just shy of like 2 months before this incident happened, and she was due for a wellness visit. So because of that, they told me that I had to surrender my dog for about 5 days, and I think it has to take place 10 days from the date of the event, which it didn't. But because we were already halfway through it, they said no, we're only going to keep her here for maximum 4. Originally it was for 4 days. And I was like talking to one of the officers. They had called my phone from, I guess, the shelter, and they were saying that it's just, we just have to monitor her to make sure that, you know, she's okay. So then I take her to go get I take her to the animal shelter, and I had to wait about an hour and a half from the time they opened, which was like at 11 o'clock, to like 12 something the afternoon so that the officer who originally gave me the notice could come in and talk me through details. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you, for all of this, like, I really had rather they just had given me the citation, because now I have to come out of pocket extra to cover for what they deem mandatory. Like, they didn't give me the option to just have her quarantined at home. I don't usually take her out anywhere where she's around dogs, period. And that's partially my fault, you know, like, as far as her being social, because people have such a stigma against pit bulls. They see them, they automatically think that they're going to be menacing. It doesn't even occur to them, like, you know, they might have just good owners who don't, like, do crazy stupid shit. So, I mean, for all of that, now it's like I have to pay for her boarding, pay for her impound fee for however long she's there, and for her to be in compliance. Now they said by the time we're done evaluating her, when you come back to pick her up, she'll be spaded, and then her rabies vaccination will be up to date, and she'll be microchipped. In hindsight, that's a good thing. You know, I didn't actually want to spade my dog, but I guess out here in Texas, it's like you don't have a choice. So they just said, you know, to be in compliance, like, we'll get all this up to date, and then you can worry about getting the rest of her wellness shots, which would have expired next month, because it's January now. Today is technically day 2 of me not having my dog, and I'm bummed. And Shea is also listed as an emotional support animal, so my anxiety is like through the roof, and I can't talk to my therapist about it because she's on holiday right now, and I don't get to see her until like the 10th. Like I said, this is not how I wanted to spend the beginning of 2024. What is going on? So, scenery wise, while you hear all the noise, I'm actually outside. Can you shut up? Thank you. Sirens. I'm actually outside. I'm in one of the doggy trails that I usually come to clear my head when I do like my runs and stuff. This is Exile Park. Let you see it. It's got a whole trail, not just for the dogs, but like, you know, for people who want to run. And it goes all the way to the back. It's really pretty, you know, during like the spring and summertime, because everything's in bloom. If you go along the path, you see where those people are walking. I don't know if you can see where those people are walking, but every so often they have like a mile marker, which is like some type of exercising equipment, because I think this place offers like some type of indoor gym. And yeah, it's nice out. It's not too cold. Try to stand this up. It's actually really lovely out. I just wish I had my dog with me. But yeah, I just wanted to you know, keep you guys updated. Hopefully by the time I post the next video, Shea will be back, and they don't do anything stupid like put her down, because I swear I will go to jail on everything I love. I will go to jail if they hurt my dog. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna try to figure out some content to put together for next week's video. Until then, I love you. I hope you're having a safe new year, and I'll see you soon.